This is Jesse. Jesse would like to know about in Matthew 17, Jesus has this confrontation with his disciples, and he encounters a demon that he that requires special care to get out. So this is the problem. The disciples can't seem to cast out this demon in Matthew 17.
Right.
When a man comes to Jesus, Jesus responds, "Where is your faith?" And then he heals the man's son. It seems like coming to Jesus would be an act of faith. So I don't understand why Jesus is asking, "Where is your faith?" It seems like that was an act of faith. Also, the disciples asked why they couldn't cast out the demon. And Jesus said that they lacked faith, but then he states next that the demon can only come out through prayer and fasting. So which is it? What is up with all of this? It seems like there's all sorts of mixed things going on here.
What passage is Jess? What passage is talking about?
Jesse is talking about Matthew 17. And do you want me to read it?
Because I think the phrase "this kind only comes out through prayer and fasting" is only found in Mark, in the Mark 9 version.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm more familiar with. I don't recall it being in the Matthew 17 one, but I guess it doesn't matter much.
Yeah. Here it is. When they came to the crowd, a man approached Jesus and knelt before him. "Lord, have mercy on my son," he said. "He has seizures and is suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him." And then Jesus replied, "You unbelieving and perverse generation." A little harsh, let me just say.
Well,
how long shall I stay with you?
He hadn't had breakfast yet.
Yeah, that's right. "How long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me." Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of the boy, and he was healed from that moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and said, "Hey, how come we couldn't do that? How come we couldn't drive the demon out?" And Jesus replied, "Because you have so little faith. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move here to there,' and it will obey. Nothing will be impossible for you." So yeah, he doesn't say here about prayer and fasting.
Yeah, so it's there in Matthew it's just faith alone that is the issue. In Mark 9, he adds this kind only comes out through prayer, and then some of the earlier manuscripts add prayer and fasting, showing that so there's different strengths of demons, and it requires a different amount of effort to get them out. But in Matthew, it's just the faith thing. Now, the thing is Jesus, as I read this account, he doesn't tell the guy, the father, "Oh, you have little faith." He uses this to, I think he's talking about his disciples. His disciples had been, he had just sent them out on this mission of the 70, and they'd been casting out demons and doing all this stuff, and they were rejoicing, whatever. But they found this boy who apparently he was demonized more thoroughly, because even though they were so successful everywhere else, here they couldn't cast the demon out. And that's where Jesus says, "Oh, you have little faith." But I think he's talking about the disciples, and then he broadens it to this generation. And I hear Jesus' exasperation being about this generation. There's like several times he makes statements about the generation that he's a part of that lead us to, I don't know how to avoid the conclusion that in some sense he saw that epic as being possessed. He tells a story about he cast a demon out, it looks for 7 others to join it, to go back to the house to repossess it. And then Jesus says, "So shall it be with this generation." So it sounds this whole gen. There's something, I guess, maybe in the spiritual realm or whatever, but there's a darkness that was around, that was oppressing people at the time, and Jesus is expressing exasperation of that. That this faith is just not very strong at where he's at. So it wasn't a rebuke of the father; it was a rebuke of the disciples more than anything else.